Today we are going to talk about interview techniques. Now, I have divided the topic into two parts. One is interview preparation, and the next would be discussing the probable questions. When we talk about interview, do we really know what is an interview? Interview is a selection procedure which is designed to predict future job performance on the basis of applicants' oral response to oral inquiries. What are the types of interviews? The first, one-to-one or personal. The second, panel interview, where one or more interviewers will interview you, where all or one or two or three, depending on their preference, they will be asking you the questions. Or should I say bombarding you with the questions? Yes. It all depends on what strategy they have adopted. Either two or three will speak and the rest will observe your body language. Either only one person will speak and the rest would be observing how you speak, how you move, your feelings, the content, etc. etc. The next would be video interview, where interviewer and interviewee are visible to each other. Then comes the telephone interview. Now, telephone interview is a bit tricky because both the parties cannot see each other, and based on your voice modulation, based on the delivery of the sentence, the interviewer will have to make up his mind about maybe your attitude, maybe your personality, etc. Part of this can be related, not very long, but the interview process is related to something known as behavioral interview, where the focus would be combining past response to the present. That means, suppose in past, while crossing the road, you had helped an old woman to cross the road, even though you were getting late for the college or some job or work. This behavioral pattern will be used as a reference for your future behavioral patterns. And let me also bring to your notice that group discussion, psychometric test, presentations can also be coupled to any of these type of interviews. So, what type of interview I will be facing, if you ask me? Well, frankly speaking, it is difficult to answer. I would suggest be ready for all of them. Now, in this, we will need a separate session to discuss group discussion. Probably we will need a separate session to discuss the personal interview. But most part of it would be covered in question and answers of personal interview. So GD we will do some other day. Now, don't you want to know what an employer expects from you. Besides human qualities like honesty, integrity, loyalty, sincerity, your would-be employer always looks for confidence, pleasant personality, good communication skill, good related knowledge, good attitude, common sense, then time management, then whether you have the dressing sense, then whether you are adaptable, ready to change, etc. If you have some experience, they will expect a nice proven record for their reference. In short, they are looking for someone who will fit into their own culture. They need a team player, not a loner. Unless it's a very isolated job. Nowadays, nobody prefers a loner. They always want a team player. They want you to have clarity of goals. They want you to be enthusiastic. So we have covered number of their expectations. So now what we should do? I call it a homework. In this homework, you are supposed to research the company you want to join. Visit their website, newspaper articles, understand their business needs. Match what they want with what you are going to offer to them. Study the job description well and then find out what can you bring that is unique or would add value to the position offered by the company. And then the golden question, why me and why not others? So our preparations for the interview starts on the previous day's night. Now you must have seen number of presentations on YouTube, but this point probably you might not have heard at many places. Why I am starting from the previous day night? See, it's a human tendency to develop anxiety, stress, fear the rejection, however prepared you are. And always on the previous day's night of exam, you feel very disturbed. Similarly, when you decide to go for the interview, same thing happens on the previous day's night. So I suggest to take dinner by 8 p.m. Then go to bed at 10 p.m. and try to get 8 hours sound sleep. When you sleep, your brain relaxes, your body relaxes, and in the morning you will be fresh. Keep your bag ready, the location map ready on the previous day itself. If you are going to visit this place for the first time, try to find out a nearby landmark. Now, on the day of interview, after 8 hours sound sleep, now you are fresh and relaxed. Now do some warm up, loosen your muscles, sit for 10 to 15 minutes for deep breathing, so enough oxygen will be inhaled, your cells will be refreshed and recharge. Now, why I'm saying this? I want you to calm down. Be enthusiastic, but don't get nervous. Now, eat adequate nutritious breakfasts. Avoid oily or heavy food. Carry chocolates. Why? Instant energy. Try to consume few chocolates, say half an hour before the interview. This will ensure adequate supply of energy, or what we say glucose, to your brain. Now, punctuality is of essence. Try to reach 15 minutes before the scheduled time. Again, deep breathing will help you relax. Be positive to everyone that you meet at the office. It counts. Beware of the body language and reactions. Nowadays there are cameras everywhere. And wise people make it a point to observe what you do while waiting outside. Be personable yet professional in your conduct. I would request you to avoid smoking, chewing tobacco, etc. You're wise enough to understand that. I would suggest pop up a mouth freshener to avoid the foul smells. Now, we are moving towards the important part, and that is interview process. Now you are called in, you knock, ask, may I come in, and enter confidently. Shake hands firmly. Appear confident. Make eye contact but don't stare. Carry your folder. Sit alert. Don't fumble. You should know what you are carrying, where you are kept the papers. Your speech should be clear, not too slow, not too fast. If you mention something in your resume, make sure you know it. If you don't know much, mention that you have not worked too much detail in that area. Observe his body language. All the time you are getting observed, you should do the same thing to adjust accordingly. Be a good listener, answer to the point. Remember always your strengths and relate them to the job. Ask questions when you're allowed to. The key is sell yourself. What are the requirements and how you are going to fill the needs? Answer honestly in a positive manner. Take some time to formulate your answers before you speak. At the end, if you have an option, negotiate the salary. If you are a fresher, I would suggest try to find out what the company offers to the freshers, because it is normally not negotiable. I have purposely kept this point at the end because I always say that your preferences should be first, the company image, second, the job profile, and third, the salary. Frankly speaking, I would always put job profile at the top, then company, and then the salary thing. Now, if you follow this, or if you have understood this, we will move over to the next topic, that is how to follow the dress code for the same. Appearances are decisive. First impression is the last impression. So, I am going to give you dressing tips. Be well groomed and clean. The natural, clean looking face is always liked by an interviewer. Needless to say, your fingernails, avoid cigarettes or tobaccos because the smell gets carried over and it's not always appreciated by people. Now, as far as men are concerned, I would suggest you wear business suit or formal, comfortable clothes with decent color combination. Please avoid green pant and yellow shirt. These odd combinations are not liked by people. When it comes to women, avoid high-heeled shoes. The noise irritates people. Don't wear anything too tight or revealing. Avoid strong perfumes, heavy lipsticks, or excess jewelry. Nicely styled hair will definitely please others. And comfortable, decent formal dress. Now, what is decent? What is formal? I would say that this varies from country to country. So, what is prevalent in your country should be worn by you. For that, observe different executives, especially in the morning when they go to their offices, and then take a call. Then what to bring for an interview? Several copies of your CV, photographs, carry a notebook and a nice pen to take down notes if required. Have a nice briefcase or leather folder with you. Then names, phone numbers, addresses of your references. These are the basic things. Besides that, something which would identify you, like identity card, passport copy, anything. So these are the things which you are supposed to carry with you when you go for the interview. Now we have discussed the dressing part. We have discussed, what precautions you have to take during the interview, what you should do on the day of interview, on the previous night, what is going to be your homework, what employer expects from you, what are the types of interviews, what is an interview, etc. so far. Because two humans are involved in this process, which is normally not time bound, but usually it takes 15 minutes to an hour for an interview. It depends on the interviewer and interview. So how to predict the output, especially when you are done exceptionally well? Well, there is a big possibility that you will make it. But if you fail, please don't get disheartened. Why? It is like a arranged marriage procedure where the would-be bride and groom, they meet for 15 minutes or half an hour, and based on those 15 minutes, based on the likes and dislikes developed during those 15 minutes, they decide whether to meet again or not. So on the lighter side, I am giving you all these tips to help you remain relaxed and happy if you are done exceptionally well. If you are not done well, go home and prepare. So if you are done well, do this every time. If you are getting interviewed, there could have been a number of situations to make him
happy, relaxed, unhappy, tense. Suppose before your interview, he got a call from his boss who scolded him, who took him left and right. What would be, his response? He can't respond over phone. So, when you step in, and if at all there is a slight mistake, what he would do? Vent it out. That's the human nature. If previous person had done bad, there is a 50% possibility that he would expect you to do better or maybe same. Now you have no control. So on the serious side, I am trying to bring to your notice the uncontrollable part of the interview process. We have tried to cover everything. What we can't cover is who is going to interview you. What are his likes and dislikes? Because whatever we say, personal likes and dislikes do feature in it. There are times when the decisions are made when you step in the room. So whatever you say probably may not get registered. Am I being negative here? No. See, I am trying to give you what can happen. In statistics, we have probability. So these probabilities should also not be overlooked. Because you have done well. You are prepared well, you are delivered well, then why not? That is what I am trying to answer. Because this is uncontrollable. Now what you can do is identify what went wrong. The common sense says that you have to thank him while you are living. For next few days you have to wait till you get some communication from the office. If you don't get communication, please contact them. Ask for the results. If you're selected, great. If results are waiting, wait. If you're not selected, try to talk to the interviewer and thank him and ask him, sir, will you please help me understand my areas of improvement? If he is in good mood, or if he is a good guy, he is likely to tell you that this is what we expected and this is where you failed. This will give an opportunity to correct yourself for the next interview. So every time we learn something. So from every interview you learn something. Especially when you try to recollect the incidents. You do realize that, oh, if I had added this, oh, if I had done this, if I had said this, no problem. If you get this job, great. If you miss it, rectify it in the next interview. So, always remain happy, but always remain cautious. Keep your preparations well, because now we are moving over to important part of the interview, and that is known as answering the questions. What questions would be asked to you, how you are supposed to answer them. This is the most important part. Whatever we have discussed so far, probably you must have heard it somewhere, must have read it somewhere.
But then the next part, which is actually a interview process, where you will be sitting on the hot seat. So let us see what type of questions and answers would be there and how we can successfully come out of it. Hello, let us discuss the important questions which are usually asked during the interview to judge you, to find out whether you are the right candidate for the job. So let us begin with the first and foremost question, that is, tell me about yourself. Why this question is asked? This question is asked first to make you at ease, to break the ice, to help you explain to the interviewer what you are, in what way you match the requirements of the company. And it will help the interviewer to judge your confidence and communication skill. Kindly note that to answer this question, there is no need to tell him the story of your life. You can start with the present and tell him why you are well qualified for this position. The key is, again, to match your qualification and experience or your offering with the interviewer's expectations. So sell him what he is buying. See, there are two parts of this. One is personal front and second is professional. Since you have come to get a job, start with the professional. Then let him ask about your personal background, so you can throw light on that. The important thing to remember in personal background is, if you are middle class person, no problem. Lower, still no problem. But if you are higher class, well, there can be a problem if you boast about how financially well off you are, how your father is maintaining a lot of money, how other options are available to you. I would suggest, even if you come from high class, please do not boast about it. You can candidly mention that, sir, my family is well off and there is no liability on me, but I want to establish myself in the job. I want to go up the ladder as soon as possible. The next question which usually follows is, what are your strengths or the positive attributes? What interview is looking forward to here? I have certain requirements. Whether the interviewee has the ability, the strengths to match the requirements and perform the job successfully. So keep list of your realistic strengths and keep few examples ready with you. For example, if you say, I have great leadership qualities, well, we might be tempted to ask you, can you give me an example? Then you can always narrate. If you are a fresher, then the leading roles you have played in school, in college, in your PG education, in your real life, where you might have participated in some NGO work, some social work. If you are experienced, then what leadership roles you had played during your last job. Second, please do not brag about it. Do not say that I can convince anybody. Do not say that I can work for 24 hours. I have great stamina. Please don't do that. Third would be the opposite of this. What are your greatest weaknesses? What is the objective of interview here? Which are the areas of concern? If candidate is lazy, then he may not work for more than 8 hours. Please be realistic. I would suggest keep list of weaknesses ready with you in such a way that you had a weakness in the past, but you work on it and it is considerably reduced. For example, yes, I had a weakness that communication was my big weakness. I realized this 4 years ago and I have been working on it. So how did you get over it? So I had spent a lot of time in reading, in communicating. I had joined a class, then I went through the dictionary, I by hearted number of words, etc. In short, assure the interviewer that, sir, I have both the qualification and the strong desire to achieve excellence in whatever I take on. And I see nothing that will hinder my progress. This weakness will not be stopping me from achieving my objectives. The next question is, tell me about something you did or failed to do that now you feel little ashamed of. Now, it means, was there anything serious in your life? Did you commit something which might be called a crime? Sir, answer to this is, I really cannot think of anything, nothing so far. So there wasn't an experience or there wasn't an incident where I failed. Next, why should I hire you? Well, in the first question, tell me about yourself. In the second question, tell me about your strengths. Well, you have, frankly speaking, given the answer to this question, that is, why should I hire you? But then again, it's interviewer's wish. So what he wants to see here? Well, I have heard that you have good qualification, experience, good communication skill, you have good confidence. Say so. So again, you have to match the company requirements with the qualities, the experience which you have. Moreover, let him see the burning desire in you that, sir, with this qualification, this experience, I am sure I will do the job well. I will stand up to your expectations. I am ready for the hard work. I am flexible, so on and on and on. So this way, he is helping himself to believe that yes, this man can definitely perform well if he is given a chance. The next question would be, where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now. What does it mean? It means interviewer wants to know how long you intend to stay with us. What are your actual ambitions? Well, here there is a catch. People benevolently tell him, "Sir, after 5 years, I want to start my own business." Who has stopped you, man? But then don't reveal it. For this, your goal setting should be ready with you. For example, "Sir, I am joining you at the ground level. Within next 2 to 3 years, I would like to get the first promotion. 3 to 4 years down the line, I would be trying for the next promotion." And so on and on. So when I reach there, I will think about the next goal. Well, if the interviewer is crook, he would ask you, in that case, after 10 years, what you want to be? Tell him that, "Sir, definitely I would like to become GM or NSM in your company down the 10 years. But sir, frankly speaking, let me achieve my first 2 goals and then I'll think about the long-term goal. Yes, I do want to become the president of the company, but sir, I know there is a lot of time for that. So I'm not concentrating on that. I'm concentrating on first 6 years." The next is, tell me, what are your location preferences, job preferences, or which company is the best company for you? Means, are you looking for something other than the position or the company which is in your hand or for which you applied? Then tell him that, "Sir, what your company is offering is matching with my expectations. I studied your company and I know this is the one which is ideal for me." The next is, why do you want to work at our company? Well, you have done homework about the company. You have jotted down the USPs of the company. Tell him, "So these are the reasons why I intend to join your company if given an opportunity." The next is, what are your career options right now? That means, what if you don't get this job? So first, I don't think that I will miss this opportunity. I have come well prepared. So I'll do my best. Now, of course, it is in your hand to evaluate me. But sir, in case if I miss this, yes, I will have to try at other places. But right now, I have no negative thought in my mind. Then they might ask you about your hobbies. They might ask you straight away, which books you have read so far. Or if you have mentioned hobby like, I like to play chess, then what is happening in chess? What is happening in football? If you have said football is my passion, then keep the appropriate answers ready for this. If it is a book, I would suggest keep, explanation in nutshell ready for these 2-3 books. Remember the names of the authors, remember the plots. If you can, try to remember the names of the characters. Because another question which might, be asked to you would be, what are your outside interests? Or what are your hobbies? Or what are your extracurricular activities? See, even if you are great in extracurricular activities. Suppose you are a badminton chap, or say member of football team. Again, do not brag, do not boast. Tell him that, sir, yeah, these are my hobbies, these are my extracurricular activities, but they have nothing to do with my career. To me, career is first, and if at all I have extra time left with me, I will enjoy these hobbies to help my mind relax. Well, usually this question is not asked by all the companies, but here they might say, will you lie for the company? I would suggest that, the personal integrity makes a lot of difference. So tell him that, sir, I prefer not to lie. So I don't think that I will lie. Please excuse me for this. The next would be, can you work under pressure? Now, the answer has to be yes. You might say that, sir, I have not joined your company. I don't know what kind of pressure. But then, that's irrelevant. For a simple reason, that this is expected of you. Please say, yes, I can, and finish it. The next would be, what makes you angry? Now, you can always say, sir, I am an even-tempered and positive person by nature. I believe this helps me a great deal in keeping my work going on smoothly. Please do not appear, hot-head, a person who is pessimist. Please don't. Well, you can tell him that, sir, when somebody lies to me, I do feel hurt but not angry. When somebody deceives me, I do not like it, but there is no point in taking out anger on them. The next would be, man, you don't have experience as much as we want. Then how can we take you? Again, the answer here would be, sir, my strengths, my desire, age, and willingness to learn fast will overcome this. I do agree with you that my experience is little less, but sir, I am sure with my strengths, I will take care of them. What about, working in night and on weekends? Well, if you like it, you accept it. Otherwise, you can tell them the, best possible answer that, what is the basic norm for your people? Well, if the requirement is genuine and work has to be done at night or maybe on weekends, so definitely I will do it. And you can always ask, so can I handle extra work from my home? Then another important question would be, are you willing to relocate? Well, as I had told you earlier, keep few locations in your mind. If you feel that the offered location is not acceptable, I would suggest that, guess the best offer you can. Then make a judgment whether it's worth for you to get relocated. It all depends on, your judgment at that particular point. Because relocation should not hamper your work. Maybe you can get the offer in your hand and wait for the next till you join it. Or if you are ready, you can always say that the location hardly makes any difference to me. You can relocate me anywhere. So I have given you, few tips on how the questions can be asked. Well, you can Google and find out a number of questions, because it's not necessary that interviewer will ask you all these questions. He may give you a twist. He may ask you, suppose tomorrow you win a lottery ticket, but 5 crores, what you will do? The answer is, great, so I'll be happy, I'll rejoice, I'll keep the money, I'll save the money, I will fulfill my plans. But sir, I'll keep on working with you because career is my first goal. There can be another question like, how many hours in a week or maybe in a day you can go. But you can say that so usually man works for 9 to 12 hours a day. If there is a requirement, I will definitely stretch on that day or days. What about starting your own business? Well, always tell him that, sir, for next 15 to 20 years, I have no plan of starting my own business. If you tell him this, he will feel secure, because nobody wants you to live in first 5 years. That is why companies are very much concerned about your plans to start a business. And the last but not the least is he might ask you to sell something to you. Sell me a stapler, sell me a pen, something like that. The steps here are very simple. Understand what he wants. Try to learn everything from him. Treat him as a buyer. Tell him that first I would like to ask few questions to you. What type of, say if it's a pen, what type of pen you are looking for? What you expect in this or from this pen? Then what should be the price of this pen? Since it's all hypothetical, match his requirements with this, the pen in your hand, and do the role play. See, appearing for interview needs big confidence. Go well prepared. Keep all these answers ready in your mind. And then explain in the rightest manner, so you will not miss the job. So all the best. Bye bye. Hello. Today's topic is CV that can increase chances of an interview call. See, many a times I come across candidates who are interested in seeking a job. They send CVs to a number of companies, but they do not get any call. So they feel frustrated and they keep on wondering why it happens. So let us see what way you can increase the possibility of getting a call letter for an interview. So the first is, when you read an advertisement, carefully mark the requirements of the company and match your CV with them only. It can be qualification, experience, related experience. I'm not talking about, the experience which you have only. What I mean to say is, suppose a company wants experience of marketing and you have experience of sales. Now, theoretically, I do agree with you that there is a thin line between marketing and sales. But then, what about function of marketings like brand management? Are you doing it in sales? Frankly speaking, no. So, try to match them exactly. Then what are your additional skills? What is your age? What is your location, preference? then what kind of profile you are looking for. So if you can match the requirement of the company with your offering, this will increase the possibility of getting a call for the interview. Now, what are other points? Please avoid grammatical and spelling errors. Please consider using the right proportion, right type of alphabets for your CV. You have to select either Times Roman or it can be Arial. Don't go for flashy one. The simple ones are liked by most. Then for every job, do not send a standardized CV, because for different companies' profiles, the requirements are different. So, match your CV to every job. Then, when you mention in CV, things like, I have handled a team of 30 people. So what? You handled a team of 30 people, but what was the outcome? So it's better, if you mention that I handled a team of 30 people and successfully we achieved the targets year after year. So there should not be anything in your action taken which will raise a question, so what? It is not the action, but the result that matters. Next is, you might have done MBA HR, MBA Finance, MBA Marketing and whatnot. I would suggest that you concentrate on your specific domain for a specific job. If the requirement is for HR and if you have experience in HR and the qualification, then send application only for HR. Do not add options like if you don't have vacancy in HR, consider my CV for marketing. Please do. So at a time, focus on one role. I would sincerely suggest you to apply for a job you are genuinely interested in. If as a finance person you are not interested in accounting job, then please do not apply. Because first, if you don't have the experience of accounting, you may not get a call at all. If you get a call and fail in the interview, again you will feel frustrated. If you get through the interview, get a job, still you will feel frustrated because you never wanted to do accounting job. So please take this care. Then list your achievements. What you have achieved in your job, what you have achieved in your life. The truthful declaration will definitely help you. Then words should be simple, language should be simple and correct. So this is in a nutshell what you can do to increase your possibility of getting a call for the interview. Now look at it from different angle. What HR thinks? The HR recruiter's objective is to find the right person for the right position. For this, what he looks forward to? He looks forward to desirable educational qualification and training, and additional suitable qualification if any. He also looks forward to the gaps in education, the gaps in your work. If a company wants throughout first class. That means in 10th, 12th, graduation, and in PG, they want throughout first class. And if you don't have, don't expect them to call you for the interview. Relevancy of work experience also matters a lot, as explained earlier. Then, are you a rolling stone? Means, in say a span of 6 years, if you work at 4 different places, well, usually that is not liked by people, because rolling stones gather no moss. So it clearly indicates that there is big possibility that you will leave the organization within 2 years, and that is not a company is looking forward to. Then, the salary expectations, your location expectations. I would suggest that you think about the job profile and company and accordingly mention your salary expectations. If you are fresh, I would suggest salary as per company norms. If your experience is of hardly 1 or 2 years, please mention negotiable. And if you have huge experience, huge credentials, then mention existing salary. And even then I would suggest that salary expectation should not be given in fixed percentage. Don't mention I want 20%, 30%, 50% rise. Just leave it or mention negotiable. But then, if the company wants to specify the percentage, then the average percentage rise given is 20 to 25%. So you can calculate accordingly. Say if you mention 25%, it is okay. Because later on you can negotiate with the company when the interview comes to that stage. And then, the notice period. Usually, company prefers people to join within 30 days. Now, if in the ad they have mentioned that they want immediate join, then if you can, please mention you can join immediately or mention the minimum number of days if possible. So if you follow these tips, I am sure your chances of getting a call for the interview will be increased. Thank you.